If you are planning to make a career in the field of business analyst or are preparing for certification exams such as ECBA, CBAP, CCA, then this video is for you. Hi everyone, I welcome you all to the first lecture of our BABOK series in which we are going to cover all the 12 chapters of BABOK. So before beginning, let's understand what BABOK is. BABOK is Business Analyst Body of Knowledge, a guide published by International Institute of Business Analysts. This guide consists of 50 techniques that all the business analysts must know in order to perform their task. So let's understand what business analysis is. According to BABOK Volume 3, business analysis is the practice of enabling change in an enterprise by defining needs and recommending solutions that deliver value to the stakeholders. So every organization wants to grow, but in order to grow, they have to make certain changes. Now, what these changes are. So imagine that organization wants to create a new software in their organization, such as a CRM system needs to be replaced. So what this means that their need is to replace the CRM system. Therefore, in order to do the change, the first step is to identify the need of the business. And we as a business analyst play a major role in identifying the need of the business. Once it is identified, we are going to do the next step, that is requirement gathering. Now, every need has a certain set of requirements that needs to be fulfilled in order to achieve the objective. Okay, so requirement is gathered, then we are going to deliver value to the stakeholders. Now, who are stakeholders? Basically, every person that has vested interest in that project is the stakeholders. For example, a CEO of the company, president, vice president, a lead business analyst, project manager, SMEs, developer, tester, everyone in the company that has interest in that particular project is considered as stakeholders. But their influence may vary depending upon their rank. For example, a CEO has more influence on the project than a sales associate, right? So this is the general introduction of what business analysis is, and we are going to do it in a detail in the upcoming chapters. So let's take an example that Apple right now is doing very bad in terms of innovation. Every year they are, they're creating new iPhones, but it is not that matched to the foldable phones or what Samsung is offering. So now Apple decided that, hey, you know what? We are going to launch foldable smartphones in iOS. But the question arises that in order to do that, they have to do a stakeholder meeting, right? Stakeholders are all the people, like I said, who have vested interest in Apple. This includes the CEO of Apple, the project manager, the business analyst, lead business analyst, developer, tester, subject matter experts, financial analyst. All the people who have vested interest in this project will be considered as the stakeholders. So you as a BA is going to gather requirement for all these stakeholders, that what are their requirements for this project. For example, someone says that we want to make this foldable phone in such a way that iOS support them, right? It is supported by iOS because Apple don't use Android, right? Another user says that this foldable phone should be budget friendly, right? And another user says that this foldable phone should be launched only in USA first on a pilot basis, and then it will go to other countries. So these are all the requirements of these stakeholders, and you as a BA is going to make a document of this requirement that is known as business requirement document. And you are going to submit this document to the business owner of the Apple, and he is going to check that is it like this project is going to work or not. So this is like general overview of how you're going to perform these tasks. So who is a BA? Again, the question comes, who is a BA? So we are not going to do coding. We are not going to do the design, the user interface. We are not going to do all like we can say the top technical stuff. So what we are actually doing? A business analyst is responsible for discovering, synthesizing, analyzing information from a variety of sources within an enterprise, including tools, processes, documentation, and stakeholders. So the crux of this is that we are actually facilitating everything. We are the facilitator, from stakeholder meetings to requirement gathering to creating the business requirement document to all the documentation that is going to involve from the beginning to ending. We as a business analyst is going to do that. We are the link between the IT team and the data team. We are the link between the stakeholders and the owner. We are going to gather every requirement that a stakeholder wants. And after gathering the requirement, we are going to choose the requirements that we are going to put in functional requirement document. Basically, these are the requirements that we want at like the most important requirements will be what can we say that is going to put in the functional requirement document. And once that functional requirement document is submitted, it will go through scrutiny, it will go to testers, and ultimately the final decision will be made that we are going to follow this process or not. So business analyst in one word is a facilitator of the project. Okay, so there are common job titles for a BA. In every organization, there are different titles. So some organization directly says business analyst, some says business architect, business system analyst, data analyst, and although data analyst is a completely different field, but some companies use data analyst also as term for business analyst. There are people, for example, a business analyst who knows coding can also become a data analyst. Then we have enterprise analyst, management consultant, process analyst, project managers. Even though project manager is very higher, under project manager came business analyst or developers. So it's like one stage above of business analyst is a project manager. Then we have product owner, requirement engineer, and system analyst. So basically these are the terms that we use for business analyst, and every organization has different set of terminologies for business analyst. So you can check on Google if you want more. Let's talk about perspective. So perspective basically means the lens through which business analyst is going to see the solution or see the problem. The first one is agile perspective. So basically it is considered as very adaptive method. It is a quite flexible, and it is usually used for software development. For example, we are developing a software for Apple, and the software is quite, I would say, complex for the user interface. And in the testing stage, the tester decides that, you know what, this user interface is very complex, we need to change it. So we are going to send back this requirement to the business analyst, and he's going to put it as a functional requirement. And again, a small iteration will be happen. Iteration basically means small cycles in which we are going to do the same steps that we had done before, but in a more quicker way. So this technique is very useful if you're going in a software where uncertainty is very low. So agile is basically used in those situations where the risk or the change is happening very quickly, and we have to mitigate it as soon as possible. So in that situations, agile is the best. For example, in 2020, COVID hit. Many of the restaurants, we see that they change their process and become to cloud kitchens. We call it as they were agile. And the restaurants who don't change their method of going to cloud kitchens, we say that they were not that agile. So the next one is business process management. In this lens, the business analyst is going to focus more on the process of the business, how it is performed. A business analyst can examine a single business process or multiple business process at the same time. For example, in the case of Apple making foldable smartphones, a business analyst may ask, hey, you know what, send me the requirements of Apple iOS working for the foldable smartphones. Or he can say that, send me the requirements for Apple iOS, its design, its modeling, its how it's going to look, its our physical look. So he can ask for multiple business processes at the same time. So business process management is a very good lens for a BA working for, I would say, a major change, right? Then came our third, that is a business architecture. So business architecture basically means the structure in which we are going to perform our task, right? Like first step, second step, third step, fourth step, in what structure we are going to complete our task. For example, Apple wants to create a foldable smartphone. In what steps they are going to do? First, they are going to do requirement gathering, what they need. Second, they are going to put that requirement in business requirement document. Business requirement document will be sent to business owner. Business owner will approve it. After approval, it will be considered as freezed. Now we are going to perform the task, right? Coder is going to code. After coding, tester is going to test. After tester finalize it, it is sent for pilot test. After pilot test is part, it is finally going to implementation stage or we're going to launch it. Sorry for my writing, I have a bad handwriting. So this is what basically we mean by business architecture. We are going to study more detail in the next coming videos. So the fourth one is IT. Now IT perspective basically means that every change that I'm going to make in the organization, for example, Apple getting to 4-level smartphones, how it is going to affect the entire IT system of the Apple, how it is going to affect the iOS, how it is going to affect the softwares that we are using, how it is going to affect the RAM, GB, data, the chips we are using. So entire IT system is going to be impacted by one single change. So this perspective basically focus on that aspect, right? And the last one is business intelligence. Now, business intelligence perspective basically means that a business analyst is going to use dashboards, visuals, visualization of data, for example, using Power BI or Tableau in order to represent the entire structure of the change, and so that make it more clear to the stakeholders. In conclusion, I would say that in every project we are going to use all of these perspective in a certain way that depends on that that may vary from project to project. In certain project, business architecture or agile will be more useful, or in other projects, IT or business process management perspective will be more useful, or in certain projects, all of them will be quite useful. So for every project to project, the situation may vary and the perspective to solve that project may vary. So with that, I would like to conclude this that perspectives can be used in a multiple ways, and as a BA, your focus should be to facilitate the entire process. Thank you everyone for having the time, and if you have any questions, just write them in the comment section and I will try to make a video on it. And in the next video, we are going to cover chapter 2nd. And till that time, have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.